and I'll edit out the boring parts, I guess. Or if I have to stop to use Nature's Bounty, I'll do that too, but you don't need to see that. So in here, the approach is easier. I don't know, let's take a look. Yeah, you're still a little far back. It teases you. It kind of teases you. We are going to take a break for some scenery though, so bear with me. Pictures taken, not really ideal yet, but getting closer. So again, worth a look. Sorry, my focus is a little bit different today. Getting better, looking for fish, signs of fish. I don't think there are going to be any shallows. I think they're going to be over there though. Still looking. Alright, so actually probably could. Kind of tight though. Maybe do that on the way back. Do some drone fish recon. Fly it out from here. Unless I find a better spot. That's kind of tight, but you might be able to launch from there. A little tight, but I've done worse. Usually without crashing. Huh? Usually without crashing. Looking around, going through this part. For those that want to enjoy the hike vicariously. If you're all sitting at home, all COVIDized. COVIDized, is that the word? Hopefully not sick, just socially being distant from your neighbors. And let's poke. Yeah, this isn't as good because you got to get up around this stuff. You could cast down the water if you could get to it though. Probably walk around the thing out here though. You can get to the more open water because we're getting there. And if I can't get over there directly, then I'm going to launch. Maybe I could get out over that. Just have to keep it low and not bap the tree limbs there. That might be an even better launch spot to get out over the water low since there's no wind. Have a look at the fish situation. We'll bear that in mind as well. Yet more deer digging. Scratching for whatever, gotta kind of loop around this, I guess, go up the hill a bit. So as to not trample all the laurel. There's the big X. Let's go around. It's easier from over there. Sorry. Time for a quick adjustment. Because I ate a bug. That was gross. Because now you're near open water better. Not for a launch, but for judging for castability too. Let's see how open this is. It isn't very open. The laurel kind of messes you up. But let's have a look anyway. Get a look into the water. I didn't just fart really. Not seeing any fish near the shore, but that's okay. We'll resume our normal course in a minute. Ow. That's gonna bruise. So from here, looking around, I could see spending some time here seeing what its fishability is like. Work my way around this is a beaver dam. Ideally, if you could get away from this though, that would be better. Kind of set up over there if you could get further over that way. But if anything else, it's very peaceful here. Get over by that big rock over there maybe. It is peaceful in here. Back in a Bigfoot mode for a second. There's your big, hold on. I need to recenter so I can show you the big X right there. Which I've showed you before, so There's that. And go over and check out the stream, see how that looks. Somebody left their walking stick. That's what this looks like. Somebody else knows my spot. Bastards. As I murder the stinking laurel. Just trying to find a spot where it's easier to get to it. Do battle with this jerk again. Just pushed by his buddy. Over here, I guess. Doesn't mean there aren't any, but I don't really see any fish right now, but that's... Hasn't been my focus though, so this is what I'm looking at. Nice little stream. Let's make our way to the second wetland. I may take a break and cover a little ground again just because I have 57 minutes, which means I've been beating on the camera pretty good, so I'm going to give it a break for a bit. We're on our way back too, actually. I just saw a hawk up ahead. Other than the odd squirrel, probably the only wildlife I've seen today. Although I just got done using the drone to scout for fish in the first wetland in a low level flyover. I don't know how effective it was, but we'll check that when we get back. Other than that, I guess it's just another quiet day out in the woods in this area. We'll so as far as like upcoming stuff, it's something in the Bigfoot community. I forgot to bring that up, but a couple of people have, so it's probably just going to be a little bit redundant. But upcoming stuff, the Vermont situation vis-a-vis COVID-19 remains the same. Far as I know, they are still, their lockdown continues till May 15th. Hopefully, I can get up there at some point during the month, next month. If they don't extend, I'll check in with that when I get home. So moving on to lighter news in the Bigfoot community. I don't know if it's actually lighter news. And this is going to be kind of a blunt opinion. There's a thing in the Bigfoot community, if you've been around for a couple of years, and I've been around for a couple of years. Kind of the concept of the unflushable turd, where something just keeps coming back around. Now you have a couple things that meet this criteria. One, things like the Claus photo or the Jacobs bear, or in this case, the Bluff Creek massacre theory, espoused by one MK Davis. And this thing, without having a lot of clout in my book, still keeps coming back around. And I don't know why, but it does. And there are those out there that are pushing this, notably among them. You have kind of a, well, you've got MK himself, who refuses to let this thing die. You have Scott Carpenter, who is now apparently latched onto this, along with the How to Hunt guy, or Steve Isdahl, I believe you pronounce his name. They're all pushing this. Now, if you want to believe in this kind of outlandish shit, knock yourself out. As far as I'm concerned, there was no massacre, and the entire notion that they try to paint the picture of is completely ludicrous. But, you know, you be you. Where this thing has kind of jumped the shark, though. Sorry, I thought I heard something. It's going to be my luck. I'm going to be in the middle of a rant one day. I'm going to walk right up on a bear or something and have to shut up and think about what to do about that. But so far, haven't had that happen. So yeah, MK keeps bringing this thing around. And it's like the Jacobs bear gets pushed by the BFRO for whatever reason. One of the reasons I have limited respect for many of them. There are level-headed people in the BFRO, don't get me wrong, but the ones pushing the Jacob bear as anything other than the Jacobs bear they're tiresome. I'll just call them that and be polite. The claws photo comes around every now and then. The person who pushed this theory a long time ago that it wasn't has semi-retired, but every now and then it'll come up and somebody will ask, what do you think of this? And it's a claws photo until proven otherwise. Never seen adequate proof it's not. But then you have the massacre theory. Only what's kind of fire and brimstone about that is that there is really a lot of deer killing or deer digging in here. Indirectly responsible for this occurring, MK Davis, Scott Carpenter, and Steve Isdahl. They bear some responsibility here. If Russell Acorn is to be Alcorn, I forget what his last name is, but if Bob Gimlin's manager is to be believed, not only is this kind of like a slander against Bob Gimlin's legacy vis-a-vis bigfooting, but according to his manager, Russell Alcorn, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Russell, I'm having a brain fart here. Please forgive. But according to this, Bob Gimlin is taking threats against his personal safety because of this massacre theory thing. And anyone who is advocating violence towards a 90-something-year-old man, or I don't know how old Bob Gimlin is, but he is in the autumn years of his life at least. No offense, Bob, I'm just kind of making a point. I'm actually defending you, believe it or not. Anyone who is going to threaten an elderly man over something as ludicrous as this, needless to say, needs a beating. I'm normally not so upfront and advocating such things, but if you're actually threatening a guy of Bob's age over this massacre thing, which is complete bunk, then you are completely out of your mind and probably should have some mental looking at. Now, Isdahl is a disappointment because when he first came on the scene, I found him interesting. And frankly, if he'd kept his shtick to, you know, reading people's stories they send in to him as he's in the middle of like magnificent scenery and all that, that would have been great. He had some good kits there. But then he started sinking into the woo and finally ending up in league with Scott Carpenter, and who has some very esoteric theories on Bigfoot. I don't know that much about Scott Carpenter, other than he is a woo proponent. For those that don't like the term woo, a proponent of the paranormal side, the more esoteric side of Bigfoot-related theory. He and Isdal seem to have latched on to each other, which, you know, great, whatever. But if Bob's taking threats for real, honestly, what the hell? That's messed up. I just felt that I should add my voice to those. Now, going back to Isdal, here's the thing. Part of his raison d'etre, I guess, is to call nonsense on some of the higher, I'm going to call them better known, because I don't believe in any ranking system in the Bigfoot community. But some of the more better known, he's going after Meldrum and Moneymaker. And he seems to want to make a name for himself doing things of this nature. And there have been times in his doing this that I don't completely disagree with him. There are some in the community who have been inflated for whatever reason, and again, for whatever reason, nobody has brought a body to the lab. So my standpoint remains the same. Until somebody pulls off that feat, we're all just looking. There are no experts. Doesn't mean a lot to me that you have been doing this for 25 years, as some will claim, if you have nothing to show for it. Now, and there are those out there. Moneymaker's a good example. I'll throw him on the Barbie for a minute. Who says, you know, I've been doing this for 20, yeah, well, where's your body? What do you have to show for it? Other than a TV show some people like and some people laugh at. Personally, not being a fan of Finding Bigfoot, I think it's done more harm than good. If you disagree, that's your option. That's your right. But that being said, sorry, the balance there. People get on Expedition Bigfoot, but at this point in time, or by this point in time, TV shows that are aimed at the subject, I've said this before, are there for ratings. They're not there. It's about entertainment. They're not going to show you what people do for Bigfoot research, because frankly it'd be tedious. Look at me, I'm just walking through Laurel, yammering into a camera. But I should probably get away from the Laurel, so I stopped trampling the Laurel and crunching through all this lovely deadfall. That opens up better. But you know, so I do agree with him to a degree at times about, so, okay, you need to like actually focus on where you're walking rather than rambling through every bit of deadfall that's here. But shite. Anyway, rather than attack people and go into my own rant on that front. Like I said, he's kind of a disappointment because he did start out with some valid points. Some people do think the BFRO are sort of the Illuminati in Bigfoot. I think they're more like the Walmart of Bigfooting myself, but that's my take on them. In that they want to be the one-stop shopping for Bigfoot, and that's not really possible. There's too many angles to it, and there's too many people who distrust them with valid reason. I'll end that there. And anyway, I gotta navigate this little boulder field here to get up and back to the road, or well, the path. So I'm going to concentrate on that. I'm going to end the segment here, and we may be back later. Thanks.